Excuse me?
I said thank you so much for being able to meet with me.
Oh, it's my pleasure, actually. So
Okay.
I'm very happy that you took a subject which includes me, that Buddhism, which relates to Newar Buddhism and Tibetan Buddhism.
Mm-hmm.
It's it's a pleasure for me, actually.
Well, I'm happy to hear that. I thought it was definitely interesting how the Newar artisans and their Buddhism has just influenced Tibetan art and their practice from the beginning. So I thought it was really important that we made sure to incorporate that with the project because, it's important to have different perspectives. But I'd really love to hear from you, Naresh. Like, you're talking to our class later on Tuesday, but maybe if you just would talk a little bit about what your family lineage does and their particular artistic practices, and obviously just what you do, and really how the Newar Tibetan relationship of exchange, how that just still exists, and how does it exist, and where does it present itself?
Oh yes, you wrote me about that, and it's very interesting, actually. For that you have to actually. Is the picture clear to you?
Yes, I can see you perfectly.
So you have to actually know the history, a little bit of history of Nepal and Tibet, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So that way you just get to know the art history little clearly. So before I start anything, I just want to show you of our artistic lineage. We in Kathmandu Valley, almost all the people are dependent on some form of artwork.
Mm-hmm.
And luckily, my father's side, they work on rock crystal. You know the rock crystal?
Yes.
It's transparent. So this is something our family deals with. This is
beautiful.
Crystal Buddha, right?
Yes.
So our family works on rock crystal. This is of course not made by my grandfather,
mm-hmm.
but this is I just wanted to show you
an example of the work.
Yes, and also I can show you my my grandfather passed away almost maybe some 45 years ago. I have a picture of him working on this piece of crystal. So basically we are the family who work on rock crystal. And my mother's side, they work on copper. So this is copper Buddha. It's fully gold plated.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And for the class, I was thinking I'll just show you how we consecrate a Buddha figure.
Yeah.
This is a Buddha, and it's all hollow inside.
Mm-hmm. How?
And we put mantra in it. Yes.
Yes, how you give the statue, the Buddha quality, the Buddha nature.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that'll be very...
I'll show you maybe in the class.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have all the materials we use to consecrate the figure. So basically, consecration is done by a very learned Buddhist practitioner. Normally, it is for Newars, it's Vajracharya, that is a highly learned Buddhist practitioner. And with Tibetan, it's a Lama, that is a person who has meditated a long time, maybe 3 years in isolation. So these are the ritualistic work. Without the consecration, this is just a piece of
just a piece of metal.
Yes. So this is basically what our family lineage is. Now you see, there is no restriction in working in any field these days.
Mm-hmm.
In those days, we used to have people working on different Buddhistic pieces. Like some people would just work on copper, some would work on silver, some would work on different wood, and some would just do painting. Now you see, these are very difficult work. Now for a person like us, it is a little difficult, because with the copper thing you need to make a wax modeling, and then you need to do the lost wax process, and then cleaning, and then carving, and then.
Would you tell me a little bit more about the lost wax practice? Actually, that was something our class was very interested in.
So, did you get my video and pictures of how we make statues?
Yes, I got the beautiful pictures from the reassembly and the disassembly of the statues. Okay. I did receive those.
Oh, well, you were talking about a big life-size Buddha, right?
Yes, Shakyamuni.
We take out all the parts. That is one very unique Buddha piece we started in the medieval time. And we still do have a festival on just near my place here. Every 5 years we have an assembly of life-size Buddha. It is a very unique festival. So we are still continuing that. And I just wanted to show what I'm doing at the moment. This is, and because all these work, the copper statues and crystal work is very tedious and it needs lots of time. But painting, I think, is more calm, and it's
a different way of connecting with the teachings.
Yes, and color and this. So I learned this art some 3 years ago for my research as well. I'm doing research on painting, so this is what I did. But there are people working on different material, as I said. So we don't have any restriction these days. So this is, the basic lineage, I could say. So there are people who work on many different.
Is that more encouraged to get out of your lineage's traditional practices and be exposed to different forms such as painting as yourself? Is that becoming something more encouraged in the Kathmandu Valley?
Yes. You see, now these days people do not appreciate the artwork. They just do it for money. That's a basic problem. I tell you one thing. These Newars were world's one of the finest painters, I could say.
I found that in all my research. Research on Tibetan art, whether it's from a Tibetan history view or a Nepali historical view or an Indian historical view, they've always mentioned the Kathmandu Valley artisans as just being exceptional in painting.
Yes, and I can tell you briefly now, because you've come to the point. So I have seen Newar's art almost everywhere in the Himalayan belt. You see, if you take very west to Kashmir, it's India's very north. What do you call it? The northwestern part.
Yes,
northwest part.
They're western. Those most western point.
So there, yes, Kashmir. So there is a small, not a small, but a very big district, one of the biggest districts called Ladakh. Have you heard of the place called Ladakh? It's almost like Tibet, Ladakh.
Ladakh? Yes,
and
I have.
They have Ladakh.
Yes.
In Ladakh, there are many monasteries where Newar painters have done the mural paintings. And that is far west. You see, in the middle portion between, let's say, if you just take Mustang of northern Nepal, that is before 17th century, it was Tibet. Later it was annexed to Nepal. So there, all monasteries, the paintings in them around 13th, 14th, 15th centuries were all done by Newars. So between Ladakh and Mustang, there are many, many monasteries, and you could see lots of work done by Newars. And if you go further to the east, it's Lhasa. So everybody knows about Newar's workers in Lhasa. The Jokhang monastery around 7th century was exclusively worked by Newars.
Yes.
Now my recent interest and finding is about the Tunghang cave monasteries.
And the paintings in there?
China. Yes.
Yes.
And there is no inscription, and no historian has ever pinpointed about the Newar's worker there. But I have found the artistic style of Newar workers.
To be present in the paintings.
Excuse me?
That you found the Newar styles on the cave paintings.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. If you just see Cave 130, you get to see it in YouTube and pictures. 130, the Buddha's aura at the back. You could see the Newar patterns there, and also Cave 456. 645. I forgot the number of the cave. I can send you later. There as well, they have lots of Newari style, but it's Tibetan Buddhist influence. So with this few places, you could make out the vast influence of Newar workers.
Yes, you really can. You can just see how it traveled west and north up through towards China. Well, what are some of the relationships that artisans like you yourself today, what are some of the cultural exchange you're doing with Tibet or even with China and India, just the countries around y'all?
So we had a relationship with Tibet since, you could say, 7th century, when one of our princes went to Tibet. Prince Brikuti Devi, we call it, went to Tibet and married the Yarlung dynasty king, I think, Sronchong Gompo.
Yes, in 639.
So you must have already, yes. So since then, we had a very good relationship with Tibet. And I can tell you one very interesting thing. You see, all over, people use Chinese things. You use Chinese clothes, and your iPhone is made in China. And interestingly, Chinese come to Kathmandu Valley to buy these Buddha statues. And Tibetans, they have to come to Nepal to buy the Buddha statue. So this is, you could say that in 21st century, we still work with Chinese and Tibetan.
Yes, there's still that exchange.
Yes.
Because
these, the method we use in statue is age-old method, which is, they still appreciate the artwork. Of course, machine could produce more pieces, but there is, with the handwork, it's more, you could say, it's kind of spiritualistic.
There's more of a connection. There's more of a connection to the art, to the artisan and the practitioner using it. if it's come from the
Yes.
hands rather than a machine. No, I can definitely see that, how that should be of higher value.
Yes. And interestingly, if you come to Kathmandu Valley, we have thousands of stupas, and no two stupa are identical, I tell you.
It's amazing.
Almost all the stupas are different. You wouldn't find two identical stupas. If you could find two identical stupas, that would be a great find. They would have some similarities, but no two pieces. So with the handwork, you don't find very identical things.
That detail.
It's a little different.
Yes.
With the iPhone 5 is exactly the same.
Yes.
You cannot make the difference. But with the handwork,
it's a funny analogy, but it really rings true to the importance of the keeping in the traditional art styles and, and the reverence of the item being made. So, as funny as that is, I understand. So, what your two family traditions, one of them used, bronze metal casting and the other one was crystals. Have you, just because you're a product of your mother and father, produced any statues that combined both of, the elements?
That is an interesting question, but unfortunately, most of the people these days do not want to be art workers.
Yes.
They want to be art dealers. You see, it's money they want to make,
it's a changing
not the
market.
good piece of artifact. So unfortunately, our family, and especially if you talk of me, I have never thought of that thing. But but still, I still do business in making these statues. Though I don't make myself, my uncle, he still does that work. And with the crystal, one of my uncle used to work on it, but he is no more. It's been 10 years. He passed away. So there is no working member in our family now. So, but still, as an art historian now, I'm working to preserve and highlight the Newar workers. So for that purpose, I learned painting because painting is one art which Newars were so famous all over Himalayan region. Of course, statues, copper statue were also a big export from a small valley like ours, from Kathmandu to the different parts in Tibet and China. So, so I think it's very, good experience, and also a good thing to work on Buddhist art, especially painting, which is a need of time, because the painting is more perishable.
Yes.
We don't have a very old, nice paintings in Nepal now. We have, of course, the statues and other artifacts, but painting is losing its ground. And more of the assembly kind of painting is coming up. If you just see in the market, the painting which you see is not exclusively Newari style.
Yes.
It's more of Tibetan style, and also their Tamang style, and also the materials used are not very indigenous. It's more commercial.
Yeah, they're no longer making their painting or their paints from the minerals and things from the earth.
This is, can you see the manuscript here?
Oh, it's beautiful, yes.
So this is one very old manuscript, but the painting is new.
Oh,
you
interesting.
See, this is our book. So though this is a new painting, the material used are all stone color and gold dust. and this writing is gold and silver mixed. And the paper is, we call it Nil Patra, that is, though it's black, we call it blue paper. So this is the basic manuscript, example of a Buddhist manuscript.
Are
And
those...
with this, excuse me, yes?
Is that made with the paper? Is it no longer, are any palm leaves still in production? Or is it now all become paper manuscripts that are being printed?
Now, manuscript these days, we don't use these kind of manuscript anymore.
Yes.
We use a normal books kind.
Mm-hmm.
This is very difficult to make.
Yeah.
A
very long process.
So people have to make their own product, and the painting is a hard work to do. It's hand painted. It's miniature paintings, we call it.
Yes, they're like miniature wall paintings.
Yes, this is miniature because it's small, and artists could magnify this in a big shape in the walls of the monastery. So this is other painting. This is a wrathful deity.
Is that Mahakala?
Just a second. Yes, it's we call it six-arm Mahakala.
Yes, one of the many.
Mahakala with 4 arms, 2 arms.
Many different forms of the wrathful Mahakala.
Yes, you seem to know a lot of icons, I guess.
Well, I've been with Yvette since my freshman year, and she's just such a enthusiastic teacher that it's hard not to get so caught up in the information. So I have picked up a lot of, being able to recognize the iconography.
That's very nice.
It was interesting. So what else? What is that?
So this is a manuscript.
Oh, wow.
This is our book. So it's almost like current search, So it's just folded like this. You just read like this.
Oh, okay. So is that how they put those together? They just fold them?
Yes. This is, we call it, there are two books.
Mm-hmm.
One, this is Tasapu. It's just folded manuscripts.
Oh.
But this is loose, you see.
And that would be the form that would have the 2 wooden block covers over it?
Yes, 2 block, and we use the book cover. You must have seen some of the photographs.
Yes.
And they paint beautiful figures on the cover. So these are paper, but I have one other form. It's from the plant leaf. This is palm leaf manuscript.
Oh, wow.
See, and in the back it's the manuscript.
Oh, wow. That's so delicate.
Yes. And this is a very old manuscript, palm leaf manuscript. But this painting is new.
Is that becoming more common for there to be newer paintings on older manuscripts?
Well, this is more for commercial purpose, I tell you, because, this is the actual manuscript. In those days, there were no paper, so they used to write on this. So now, people just want to have some artwork. They just rub the writings and paint it. Because it comes, because these are loose leaves.
Yes.
You know, if you don't have a whole set of book, it doesn't make any sense.
It's just one paragraph.
They just write it to make it, more sellable.
Oh, but interesting. Oh.
This is anyway a piece of art. You know, this at least we could see what a palm leaf manuscript look like.
Yes. Oh no, it's a beautiful example.
So you must have got these. I sent you a few of the attachments along the email. I've seen the sources I used for the manuscript painting.
Yes, for the PowerPoint.
Yes.
Okay.
Did you take it?
Yes, I did receive those emails. So thank you very much. And I think that should be everything. And I'm looking forward to hearing you again on Tuesday, when I'm sure you'll be covering more in depth the lost wax practice and, just more fun stuff like that. So thank you so much, Naresh, for taking time out of your day for meeting with me. I really appreciate it. It's going to help just kind of tie together the last part of my exhibit, because really what I just focused on was the medieval relationship between the Newar artisans and Tibet, and I really wanted to tie it into, obviously a Newar artist from today, so you. So thank you so much for being a part of that. I cannot thank you enough for all the lecture notes you've given me. Have been incredibly helpful. The pictures have been beautiful that you and Bikram has sent me, so just thank you 1,000 times again. Thank you.
You're most welcome.
So I will. And
I'll be very happy if you just did a very good presentation. That would be, good a thing for me if you just do it a good presentation, I think.
Well, I'm aiming for that, so hopefully when you see the finished product, it'll be something you approve of. So thank you again.
You must.